Say my name, Jizwipe. It's Pharaoh. Ask your hurt.
Hello Internet, welcome to Games Done Wrongish. Hey guys, welcome to my Game Pass or Play review for Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. Without further delay, let's get straight into it. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is a top-down isometric turn-based role-playing game set in a post-apocalyptic world in which humans have been all but wiped out and mutants are the main survivors. The game is based on a Dungeons & Dragons type tabletop game called Mutant Year Zero. The game hit Xbox Game Pass on its release date, and as I am a fan of the XCOM turn-based games, I could not wait to give it a go. The combat in the game is very similar to that of XCOM with a few changes here and there. Your team starts out with just two characters, a pig named Bormin and a duck named Dux. Later on, more characters will join your team, but you will only ever be able to have 3 in your party at any given time. When you enter combat, each of your characters have 2 actions available to them each turn. This will allow you to either move then attack, move twice, use a mutation ability, throw a grenade, or simply attack with your main or secondary weapon. If you choose to use your main weapons on the first action, it will also end your turn. The same can be said for some mutation abilities. For instance, Bowman has a very useful charge ability, which allows you to charge into an enemy and stun them for 2 rounds. This action, however, will end his turn, so he cannot attack again afterwards. On the other hand, Dux has a mutation ability that allows him to fly up into the air, providing he is not blocked by a ceiling or something else. This ability does not use an action to cast, and as such you can use this and then fire your weapon once you are in an elevated position. Being elevated gives you a higher chance to hit. Learning your character's abilities and utilising them at the right time is the key to success in this game. Unfortunately, the game does a really bad job of explaining how to play it when you first start. Simple things such as how to move faster around an area and the likes are left out for you to figure out by yourself. Pressing B will turn your torch or flashlight on or off. When it is off, you will move slowly as if sneaking around the area. When it is on, your character and team will move a little faster. Unlike the XCOM games, in this game when you enter an area, you are not instantly in a turn-based combat scenario. You are able to freely move around and search for items such as scrap and weapon parts. These items can be spent back at your main base to either purchase items such as medkits and grenades, or to upgrade your weapons and make them more powerful. There are also relics that can be found in some areas. These are things left behind from a time before the bombs fell. You will find things such as a ghetto blaster or a car battery. Each of these will have a sort of humorous description left by a chronicler of the old world. Once you are back at base, you can trade these in at the local bar for permanent buffs such as healing more hit points when using a medkit or an overall damage increase for all weapons, so these are definitely worth picking up. Back in the field, when you decide to start combat, the best way to do so is to scout out the area first and try to find enemies that have split away from the main pack. Then try to take them out stealthily before engaging the others. As I stated earlier, Bowman has a very useful charge ability which can be utilised perfectly in these scenarios. If you can follow an enemy until they are secluded and then ambush them, starting with the charge attack, you will then get 2 turns to attack before they can retaliate. As long as you have upgraded your weapons enough and made sure that each of your characters is carrying a silent weapon, you'll be able to take these down without alerting the rest of the enemies in that area. Each time you take down an enemy, the game will auto-save. At this point you can continue, or you can choose to fast travel back to base and pick up some more medkits or grenades if you feel they will be needed. When you return to the area, any enemy you have already defeated will remain defeated, and you will only need to take down the enemies you left behind. Once an area is clear, it is a good idea to sweep the area, picking up any weapon parts, scrap and relics that may be left behind. You may also stumble upon a chest every now and then, which can hold a new weapon or armour. The armour you collect will have different attributes attached. These can simply upgrade your armour and health, which allow you to take more damage before actually losing hit points, and also boost your hit points to boot. Others may not protect you as much in that respect, but may have additional abilities such as being able to absorb fire. This can be very useful when entering an area that may consist of many pyro enemies. Pyro enemies will generally throw Molotov cocktails at your team members. The enemy will need a turn to re-equip the makeshift grenades once they have launched one, so they will generally only throw them every second turn. If they do hit, they will cause some initial damage and set your characters on fire, which would then cause 1 additional point of damage each turn for the duration set by the debuff. You can see the duration at the top of your character's health bar. It is usually 2 to 3 turns. This can be negated entirely though with fire resistant armour. As you clear areas and defeat enemies, your party will start to level up. When they do, you will gain skill points which you can spend upgrading their mutation abilities. Each character has 3 mutation abilities that they can equip at any given time once unlocked. 2 of these will be active abilities, which as mentioned earlier may or may not use up an action to activate. The 3rd mutation will be a passive ability that can grant you buffs such as a higher crit chance or further range on your attacks. Ducks for instance will unlock the ability Circuit Breaker later on. This ability gives Ducks a chance to disable an electronical enemy for 1 round. This can be extremely useful later on as some areas are teeming with mechanical enemies and being able to disable them is crucial to your survival. On top of this, your weapons can be modified with a scope and attack attachment. Therefore you can attach an attachment to your weapon that also grants a chance to disable an electronic enemy for 1 round. I had 2 of these equipped, which meant I could initiate combat with Ducks, disable the enemy and then keep it stun locked with my weapons while taking it down. This helped immensely. The story in the game is a little bit weak, but it does just enough to keep you moving forward throughout the areas. It starts out as a search and rescue mission, which later turns into a mission to save the world from another nuclear fallout, as may be expected. The enemies do vary from humanoids with guns or fire to humanoids with mind control abilities and a number of machine-based enemies that differ in size and skill sets. This will keep you on your toes and cause you to change up your tactics and gear setups often, which keeps the game fresh and interesting in turn. So there we have it, Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. I have to admit I really enjoyed this little game in the end. At first I was a little bewildered because I could not figure out why I was losing so often. This was mainly down to the fact that the game does not introduce the mechanics or controls to you at all. It shows you a small insignificant tutorial at the start which shows you how to move your characters and how to use up their actions to either move or attack, but nothing really more than that. It does not even tell you that you can separate enemies and take them down one by one. You can learn this by reading the tips in the loading screens, but half of the time, you're doing something else when the game's loading, like browsing on another screen or something like that. It doesn't even tell you how to sneak or to move a little faster, or that you can separate your own team and put them in different positions around the map before you initiate combat. I had to figure out most things myself. Luckily when I was playing the game I was streaming whilst I made this review, and one of my viewers had played the game before and was able to advise me on the functions early on. Had they not been there, I may have given up on the game early, which would have been a horrible mistake. Once you get used to the gameplay and mechanics, the tactical combat becomes a lot of fun. It may take a while to clear each area if you're doing it safely and meticulously, but that adds to the engagement I feel. The game has 36 achievements for you to collect for your 1000 G. The average time to beat the game is around 16 hours, which is a little short for a tactical game I guess. It currently scores 80 on Metacritic with a user score of 7.9, and if I'm honest, I kind of agree with those scores entirely. I really enjoyed the game and would love to play more of it, either in some DLC content or a sequel. The things that prevent it getting a 9 or a 10 from me are the facts that it is a little bit too short and that the introduction was not very well done. Had they spent a little more time on the introduction showing you how to control the game and how to separate your team and all the different abilities you had available, and had they made it a little bit longer, kind of fleshed it out a little bit more, I would definitely be giving this a higher score, like a 9 or a 10. As such, I have to agree with the popular opinion, and Games Done Wrongish will give Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden 8 out of 10. For me, this is definitely a game to play and not pass on. Download it and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
If you like this video, please consider watching another. 2 suggestions will be on screen now. Also, if you have not subscribed already, please do so by clicking the icon in the middle of this screen. Every view and subscription will go a long way to helping the channel grow, and in turn will result in more content for you. Thank you, and until the next time, goodbye.